I don't know what I want to sew next. I have too many options. Welcome to the second half of April. I got a lot done in the first half of April and I was feeling really good about it. And then yesterday I was supposed to start this vlog and I came out to my studio during my designated sewing time and did virtually nothing, which is fine. It's fine. I'm allowed a break now and then. I am not a consistent output human, and doing these vlogs is kind of forcing me to confront that about myself and make my peace with it. I have ups and downs, I have highs and lows, I have periods of insane output, and then I have periods of nothing. And that's okay. It's okay. That's why I started out this year saying I need to average 2 projects per month, not make 2 projects per month, because I knew that was unrealistic, and averaging is fine. So I'm not going to beat myself up about getting nothing done yesterday. And I didn't get nothing done. I did start work on converting the teal skirt to the split side pocket placket style. Oh, and I did also finish hemming the pullover blouse yoke, so that is done. But I digress. Speaking of digressions, who wants to hear about my hydrangeas? I did not kill the monster hydrangea by pruning it too hard. It is leafing out just fine, and I think it's still gonna be a monster. It just loves to grow. It has a brother across the sidewalk from it that has stayed the same size every year. It doesn't get enormous. And so I've been trying to prune the monster one back to the level of the normal one. So we'll see how it does this year. And my baby hydrangeas have not yet died. The ones that I put in pots are still going. Their little buds are starting to open up, so there's hope there. I'm not keeping them, I'm going to give them away. There's a plant swap in a couple weeks that I'm going to bring them to and hopefully let them go to new homes, because I don't have any room for more hydrangeas. I just don't. So I'm really kind of struggling at the current moment to decide what project I want to start on next. I just have so many to choose from. Weirdly, I kind of want to jump ahead to the white and red dress with the bright red buttons and the rickrack trim, because I did not like how the blouse that was supposed to be the mock-up of that pattern turned out. That may sound strange, but I think it's just a matter of using a very wrong fabric for the pattern, and I think that the fabric that I've picked out for the white dress is much better suited to the pattern, and I want to see how it's supposed to look. And I say jumping ahead because that one wasn't even on my radar to start with. The things that were on my radar, you may recall, were the red pants, the multicolored daisies dress, and the cream rayon blouse. And those were all on my list next because they were already in progress. And I wanted to keep the momentum going of quickly finishing some of the things that have been lingering for some of them years. The cream rayon blouse is the thing that I've cut out the most recently. I only cut it out in January, so it has only been started since the beginning of this multi-project saga. But the dress I cut out last year around this time, thinking I would have it for summer and then promptly abandoning it when it started to get more complicated than I expected it to. And the pants I've had for a while, and I've worn them several times and just kind of been unsatisfied with them every time I wore them, and finally took them apart, I think last fall. I didn't document taking them apart, but I kind of miss having them in my wardrobe because they were comfortable. I just didn't like the way they looked, so I want them back. I just don't want to work on them right now. So, I don't know. I need to, I think, get out a bunch of projects, plop them on the table, and see which one sparks joy. Except, before I do that, I need to wash this fabric. I don't know how I missed it in my first go-around of overlocking and washing fabrics that were in my stash and needed to be washed, but I missed it, so I'm going to do that now. And that way, it will be ready to use when I really want to work on that dress, which I think is going to come soon. Well, that was rather convenient, as I was able to use up the bobbins of both the green wool skirt and the teal blouses. So, I'm officially done with both of those projects. Well, all three of those projects, if you're counting the two blouses separately, which I am. And now this fabric is ready to wash. So that's a good feeling. Side note, when we were at our hotel for the eclipse in New York, I had a woman who worked at the hotel tell me at breakfast she really liked my hair like this. That this is how I had my hair for breakfast that morning, because I hadn't taken down the pin curls yet, and she said she really liked my hair. And she said, I don't know how you do it like that. And I was very confused because it's just a headscarf over pin curls. But maybe she'd seen me the day before and my hair looked nice. I don't remember if it looked nice. But maybe it did. And maybe that's what she meant. I was just baffled by the entire interaction. She asked me how long it took me to do my hair like this. And I said about 10 minutes, because I've timed it, and that is about how long it takes me to put the pin curls up. And she was amazed at that. And I said I've had lots of practice, which I have. This was my pandemic hobby, learning how to do pin curls. And I don't know, it was just a very strange interaction all around, but I mean pleasant, but strange. Anyway, I still don't know what I want to sew next. I should probably figure that out. Okay, so these are the candidates for my next project. You will recognize these four as the same as my last round of what do I want to work on next. And I've added in, I have added in the navy blue blazer, the black pinstripe vest, the red and white dress, and the red tropical dress as possibilities. Now, like I said, I'm kind of wanting to work on this one next. I think largely to redeem this pattern in my own brain, because I think it could be good with the right fabric, and I want to see. This one's kind of a dark horse. I don't think I'm really excited to work on it yet. It's just very outside of my normal style. To me, this is something Peggy Carter would wear on vacation in California or the Bahamas or something. And I just don't know if that's me. I want it to exist. I want the dress to be a thing that exists. I'm just not sure if I want it in my wardrobe, now that I'm thinking it through out loud. I know I want this one. This is very much my style. But then again, I didn't know if vests were going to be my style before I made the first one. And now I really want to work on the second one and the blazer. That's basically just the same vest but with sleeves and a collar. Although I might make it collarless. That is an option. Anyway, I do really want to work on these pants, and I still have not found the other halves of the pockets, and it is still driving me crazy. Not excited to work on this one. I am excited to work on this blouse, and I do have 2 additional collars cut out from other patterns, and I'm excited to have those. And I'm also excited to have these pants back in my closet and wearable. So I don't know. I don't know what I want to do. Nothing's happening tonight because I need to go in and put the kids to bed, but I guess I'll sleep on it and let you know tomorrow. Okay, I have slept on it and I've decided I'm gonna work on these pants because I miss them and I want them back. I am afraid because I have never attempted to turn a fake welt pocket into a real welt pocket, and I don't know if it's going to work. But I'm going to find out, and I'm going to take you on the journey with me. Also, I went full vintage today. Don't really know why, other than this dress and this blouse have been hanging in my closet, and the blouse is all nicely pressed from when I got it ready to show off for my Rating the Vintage Makes video back in January. But it hasn't really been nice enough to wear this outfit. But it is now. It's gorgeous outside. And my hair, I think, is reaching the upper limits of length that I can successfully pin curl. And it's beginning to annoy me. I love having long hair. I love being able to style long hair. There are things I can do with my hair when it's long that I can't do when it's short. So I'm keeping the length for now, I think. We'll see. We'll see how much it bugs me. I will definitely be cutting it back to a more vintage appropriate length to prepare for my year of dressing vintage, because I know I will want to be pin curling it every day once I start that. But in the meantime, I occasionally go for days at a time, sometimes weeks, without pin curling it, and I like having the flexibility to put it up in milkmaid braids or do a bun, or sometimes I just leave it long and curly. Like I'll do a pin curl set, and then instead of putting it back up in the curls overnight, I will leave it down so it loosens further while I sleep. But then it does tend to keep the curl just at the bottom and makes this nice sort of wave. I'm babbling again. I should stop babbling and sew. It's the downside of vlogging. I keep just wanting to talk to the camera and not actually do the thing I'm supposed to be doing. Okay, let's get to work on the pants. So I think what my plan is, first I think I need to seam rip this false pocket facing off around this rectangle, and then attach it to my pocket bag. It will go across here. This will be the inside of the pocket when it's folded up. And then I will need to sew this part of the pocket over the opening, which usually you would do before cutting the opening apart, but since the opening is already cut for me, I'm going to have to be very careful. I might sew it by hand, just to have more control over the material and what I'm doing. I'm using these scraps of a pillowcase for my pockets, and they're cotton, woven, non-stretch, and My pants are rayon and stretchy, so I think hand sewing might be the best way to achieve what I'm going for. Just to make sure I get all of the raw edges of the pocket opening enclosed nicely. I think that will be best. I'm going crazy. I'm going crazy. There is a rift in space and time somewhere in my sewing studio. I dropped a spool of thread and it has disappeared from this plane of existence. It's probably wherever the pocket pieces are because I cannot find it. I've looked everywhere. It's gone forever. Ah! There it is. Little scallywag. Now where are the pocket pieces? Okay, that totally worked. Fake welt pocket on the left, real welt pocket on the right. It is not perfect, but it's functional and that's all that matters. Don't ask me why, but I have decided I want to work on this dress. So I got out all my pieces to first of all see what else I need to cut out, because I remember thinking I wanted to self-line just the bodice, but I didn't want to cut out the lining pieces right then for some reason. And I do have plenty left over. I just measured and there's over 4 yards here, so I will certainly have enough to finish cutting this out. I just need 2 more pieces of each of these, except for the pockets. I already have 4, so I don't need any more of those. I did only cut 2 skirt pieces, and I need 2 more for the full width of the very densely gathered skirt, which I definitely want. And then yeah, I just need 2 more of each of the bodice pieces so that I can fully line the bodice. Now I'm wondering if I should sew my current bodice pieces together and try it on before I cut out the lining pieces, because I might need to make some adjustments. And as you can see, I have already gone a size larger than the pattern calls for. It only goes up to 12 and I really need a 14 or possibly 16, so I just graded it up myself in the excess tissue paper edges, which I've done before and it generally works. Okay, I remember why I actually stopped working on this in the first place, and it wasn't about the lining. It was about the fact that I want this to be adjustable, and I also want it to be pullover. Basically, I don't want to put in a zipper. I despise zippers, and side zippers are extra annoying. And also, zippers on this type of flowy, drapey fabric are difficult for me to get to lay properly. I don't have the expertise or the patience to get them to look right, because the zipper has no give. It's very stiff, and then it's in the seam. Even an invisible zipper is going to make the seam of this very flowy, drapey fabric not flowy and drapey, and that always bothers me a lot in a finished garment. So I don't want to deal with the hassle and the stress of trying to put in a zipper, knowing I'm going to be unhappy with the results anyway. So I don't want to do it. The problem is, this is a very fitted midriff bodice. So the way that I'm proposing in my brain, you know what, let me get a pencil. I think that might help. Basically what I'm thinking is to have pieces come out, basically extend here, which will wrap around in the front, and they'll be attached to the pockets, just like a split side skirt, basically. And then they'll fasten in the center front under the midriff here. And I know that that could cause some bulk to show, but I have a plan for that. And then on here, I'm thinking, just drawing them out here to, okay, that looks awful. That was terrible. I'm just extending it out here to get it out of the way. Basically, long sash ties that can then wrap around in the back and tie in a pretty bow. Okay, my drawing skills are not the greatest, just pretend that they are. And then, in order for these front wrap pieces to not show through the fabric of the midriff, I think I'm going to interface the outer pieces and then add boning to that center front midriff. And then I will also put boning in the side seams, probably. And then the other thing is that I know I'm not going to want these ties to be permanently attached, because I will not want them to get tangled up in the washing machine. I just recently had a long tie break on me because it got too tangled up in the washing machine and just tore from the strain. So I want to avoid that. And I don't think buttons are going to cut it here, but I'm thinking if I do skirt hooks on the inside of these seams, and I'll have the hooks on the ties themselves, so they will be pulling, the hooks will be pulling against the bars inside, which will be on the inside of a boned seam. So that will have the rigidity to keep from pulling and stretching the fabric, basically. I think that will also be really cute. I think that adding waist ties with a big bow in the back will add to the dress. I think it'll be really adorable. I'm, of course, quite nervous about this, so we'll see how it goes. I might chicken out and just do it normally. I think I am going to use a different fabric for the lining pieces of the midriff, both because they're not going to show in any way on the outside, and if I'm already going to be interfacing the midriff pieces, I do want them to have more stiffness, so I think I'm going to line them with a cotton. Give them a bit more structure and stability. We'll see how this goes. I have not been doing much sewing at all in the last 2 weeks, and I think that this next vlog is going to be pretty short, especially compared to the previous one, which was my first over an hour long video on YouTube. I've had a lot kind of going on in the second half of April, and I've also just not been feeling motivated to sew, I guess, and I haven't really felt focused on a specific task. I've kind of been all over the place. So I think this vlog is going to be a little all over the place, and I'm not sure I'm going to finish anything in this second half of April at all. I have the brick red pants partially done. I have one welt pocket done. I did it all off camera so that I could work it out and figure out what I was doing without feeling the pressure of needing to film it at the same time. And so now I am going to film doing the second one so that you get to see my process, because it is interesting. I think it's interesting, making a fake welt pocket into a real welt pocket, and who knows, that might be something that some of my viewers would be interested in learning how to do. So I'm going to put it out there and let you see how I accomplished mine anyway. I have had success. I'm very pleased with my first one, and I think the second one is going to go just fine. So If I accomplish nothing else in this vlog, I will have accomplished that. Oh, and if you were looking for an update on the update to my baby hydrangeas saga, we had our plant exchange this past Saturday, and I gave away all 7 of my baby potted hydrangea cuttings to people who seemed very excited about getting them, so I hope that they thrive in their new homes and give enjoyment for many years to come. But let's get back to the pants. I removed the faux pocket facing from the inside, pressed the seam allowances back into the rectangle for the welt, and pinned the top of the pocket to the outside. Then I stitched in the original stitching line by hand using a back stitch for strength. I only stitched along the 2 long lines of the rectangle, leaving the short ends free because the welt is not finished on the ends. And unfortunately, we have to leave it there for now, because that was the end of April. I never filmed an end to this video, and it is now the middle of June, and I am almost done editing it so I can put it out. It's very out of order now. It should have come before the May update video, but it did not. It's fine. So, yeah, I did not get a lot accomplished in the latter half of April. I in fact did not finish any new garments, so all of the completed garments that you saw in the May update video were finished in the first half of April. Very productive 2 weeks there, not so productive second 2 weeks, and that's okay. It's fine. So you will have to stay tuned for the May vlog, and there's only going to be one of those, because I only worked on anything related to my vintage sewing in the first 2 weeks. Nothing whatsoever in the second 2 weeks. But that will be coming. You will get to see me finish the brick red pants. They are done, as you saw in the May update. I finished them. I wear them a lot. They're very comfortable, very happy. So the whole transition from fake welt pockets to real welt pockets worked, and the waistband got put on and hem got done. Just not in this video, which is fine. So sorry to kind of leave you on a cliffhanger, but I did finish those pants. You'll see them in the next video, I promise. And with that, I'm going to go finish editing and publish this video so you can see it. I hope you enjoy. Bye. Ooh. It really hurts my arm holding this camera up, but I kind of like the style. And that way it will be, wow, that's hard to say.